Suspect being tased. Suspect being tased.
A pursuit on horseback ends with deputies tasing the suspect and then beating him on the ground for 2 minutes. News Chopper 4, the only helicopter overhead. Good afternoon. I'm Robert Kovacic in for Chuck Henry.
And I'm Colleen Williams. What began as a car chase in Apple Valley ended with a suspect stealing a horse and hitting a trail, and what came next, several kicks and punches from several people. We went back and watched this video several times, and we counted dozens of blows, including more than a dozen to the head. For the first time, NBC4's Tony Shin live at the sheriff's headquarters in San Bernardino County. Tony.
Robert and Colleen, right now I am just waiting to hopefully talk to Sheriff John McMahon. Hopefully we can show him that video, and hopefully we'll get his reaction to it.
Deputy fell down. Oh, you shot him with a taser?
At this point, 2 deputies approached the suspect, who was riding a stolen horse. Now, one deputy tases the suspect a second time, and the man goes to the ground. He then puts his hands behind him as he lays face down. But then the deputies start to punch and kick him over and over again, kicking him in the head and the groin, even striking him with the actual taser gun. Other deputies arrive a short time later, making a total of 11 deputies. Some of them also punch and kick the suspect as well. In 2 minutes, 11 seconds, we counted 37 punches, 17 kicks, and 4 strikes with a baton. The suspect was struck in the head 13 times. Later, we saw him lying on the ground and not moving. At this point, we have confirmed that he is still alive, but we're still trying to get his name and find out why he was wanted by the deputies. We're also hoping to hear from Sheriff John McMahon. We actually made contact with him inside Sheriff's headquarters. We're hoping he comes down and lets us show him that video. We'll, of course, have another update on this, and hopefully we'll get the sheriff coming up in the next hour. We'll see you at 6. That's the latest from here. Reporting live in San Bernardino, I'm Tony Shin, NBC4 News.
This controversial story this afternoon, a pursuit that started with San Bernardino sheriff's deputies pursuing a man on horseback. What appeared to be a very controversial end to this pursuit, with the suspect being beaten. Megan Reyes live in News Chopper 4. Megan, you were overhead when all of this was going down. What was your initial reaction when you saw it?
Colleen, it was intense. I mean, this is the area where the pursuit ended. I mean, it literally was finding a needle in a haystack. Look at this area. This is the San Bernardino National Forest. That's where we witnessed LA County, or I'm sorry, that was San Bernardino County Sheriff deputies pursuing the suspect on a horse via a helicopter. Now, we heard them talking about a couple of deputies who were injured on the ground. They were suffering some type of dehydration. Definitely emotions were flaring. And when deputies apprehended the suspect, I was almost at a loss for words. They had the suspect in custody, but you were seeing what I witnessed from News Chopper 4, and it was intense. That's what I'm going to say. And it was kind of difficult watching them pursue the suspect. I mean, I understand that emotions are up there at that time, and the adrenaline is pumping, but the suspect was pretty much apprehended. I was not on the ground. I don't know what the suspect was doing, but from our vantage point, it looked like he was just laying there complying, waiting to be handcuffed.
And he had been tased at this point, right?
He was tased twice. Now, you can see there was a deputy who actually jumped out of the helicopter. That's what it appeared. He ran toward the horse and tased the suspect. The suspect fell off the horse, and at the same time, that deputy fell down, and there was reports that he was actually kicked by the horse. He got up, tased the suspect again, subdued him, and a couple of other deputies came and assisted, but then just a swarm of deputies pretty much jumped on this guy, and they just pretty much, the video pretty much explains what's happened from that point forward.
The first time a pursuit on horseback ends with a man tased and beaten on the ground. Not one, not two, but several deputies seen kicking and punching the man more than 50 times for 2 minutes. And now this video is the subject of an internal investigation. NBC4's Tony Shin just talked with the San Bernardino County Sheriff for the first time about the video you will see only here. He is live for us tonight in San Bernardino. Tony, what did he say?
Well, Robert, Sheriff John McMahon told me that he only glanced at the video, but from what he saw, he said it was, quote, disturbing.
Deputy fell down. Oh, you shot him with a taser?
Now, we wanted to show the entire video to Sheriff McMahon, but he declined, saying that he will look at it more closely in private. In it, you see a deputy shoot the suspect with a taser twice, and the suspect lays face down on the ground with his hands behind him. Two deputies begin to punch and kick him, even using the taser to strike him. More deputies show up, a total of 11, and some of them also strike the suspect. It lasted 2 minutes and 11 seconds. During that time, we counted 37 punches, 17 kicks, and 4 baton strikes. The suspect was struck in his head 13 times. Now, we just learned that the suspect is 30-year-old Francis Pusok. He's wanted for identity theft, and when deputies tried to arrest him at his home in Apple Valley, he allegedly took off in a car. He then allegedly stole that horse from a group of people east of Apple Valley. Soon after, the beating took place. I just spoke one-on-one with Sheriff John McMahon. Here's what he...
Well, I can certainly understand the concern in the community based on what they saw in the video. I'm disturbed by what I see in the video. But look, I don't need to jump to conclusions at this point until we do a complete and thorough investigation. And as I indicated, if our deputy sheriffs did something wrong, they'll be put off work and they'll be dealt with appropriately in accordance with the law as well as our department policy.
Sheriff McMahon also pointed out that 2 deputies were treated for dehydration during that chase, and one was injured after being kicked by a horse. At this point, the suspect is being treated at a local hospital. Right now, we're still trying to get more information on his injuries. Coming up at 11, you will hear more of my interview with the sheriff and what he thinks about that video. That's the latest from here. Reporting live in San Bernardino, I'm Tony Shin, NBC4.